Hello guys, welcome to the another episode of my podcast. This is MJ. I am the host of this show and the owner of this channel. And this time we're talking about pandemic life lessons. So, let's get started. This pandemic has taught us to value life and to appreciate the simple things we always took for granted. But despite of all this coronavirus pandemic has highlighted some important life lessons. Many times we think other people's trouble are not ours. But this pandemic has taught us to get that out of our mindset and to think again. Because the reality is, our lives are all intertwined and we are involved in this journey called life. So the next time you hear that someone from some place is facing a problem and think that it does not concern you, remember that when the leads of us is threatened, we are all at risk. So we must keep an open heart and an open eye for one another. We must lend our loving hands to those in needs and for them to feel that we are all in this together. Maybe our life is an everyday routine. We wake up in the morning, prepare ourselves from work or school, do our jobs, go back home, have dinner, go to bed and sleep, and then the next day, do the same thing again. After all the shutdown of the offices, schools, shops, and other businesses, and for staying in our house, whether we are working from home or we lost our job, our everyday routine that we says, break down. And it has presented us a chance for us to change the way we look at our lives and to appreciate all the things that we cannot appreciate before. They say, we don't realize how blessed we are until it is taken from us. Because of this pandemic, it gives us to pause and see how great it is just simply be able to open our eyes in the morning and wake up in our own bed and be in the company who is healthy and far from sickness. We saw and read on the news that many are fortunate enough to experience even those simple things. Remember this. We might have been doing a lot of good things, but may not necessarily be the best thing. And this pandemic has allowed us to have more time to value and appreciate our family and spend quality time with them, especially for the kids. That means the best of us, and that simply means just being there to talk to and to listen. Let us treasure all those times, as those times will never come back and will never happen again. Pandemic also teaches how to be responsible, not only for ourselves, but also for the people around us. It proved to us that money can't buy everything. Even we have a lot of money, or how rich we are, it can't buy a protection to save your life or your family. Who would have thought that simply shaking hands and simple high fives would build a source of a life-threatening virus? We are reminded that life is short and that we are all fragile and susceptible to getting sick and even dying suddenly. Pandemic reminds us that we are not in control of our lives, that this is only borrowed to us and anytime will took upon us. But remember that God does not abandon us. God goes with us even now in the time of trial and testing. After all the sufferings and difficulties, we must always run to Him. At this time, it is important to anchor our hearts and our hope in God. So how pandemic taught us a lesson? This pandemic has taught us to care and to take care of one another, to value and to appreciate life's simple things, to be responsible citizens and human beings of this world, to live a life with humility, to spend more quality time with our families and loved ones, and that there is a God who is in control of everything. So, how about you guys? How COVID-19 pandemic changed you? Did you learn from it? Let me hear your thoughts. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining my podcast. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoy listening to it. This is MJ signing off and saying, keep safe as all.